Shalom, everybody. Insights in the Parsha of the week, Parshat Ki Teitzei, based on the insights of Rebbe Nachman, Rabbeinu, and in particular in lesson 24, which we are involved for over 3 years now, and it's just unbelievable. We'd like to go into the mitzvah of what's called the fallen animal. This is chapter 22, verse 4. In this week's parsha, there's many more halachot in continuation to last week's parsha. The verse reads like this: Lo tir'eh et chamor achicha o shoro noflim baderech v'it'alamta mehem hakem takim imo. You should not see your brother's donkey or your brother's ox falling while traveling on the way and pretend like you don't see. V'it'alamta mehen, and just like, pretend you don't see what's happening. Hakem takim imo. You have to lift up the animal that's fallen with the load along with your friend, okay? Before we go into this verse, just to recall a story brought down by Rebbe Nachman in his autobiography. In Hebrew, it's called Yemei Mohanat. The second section of this book, it's 2 sections. The second section is Rebbe Nachman's autobiography of his journey to Eretz Yisrael, the Holy Land, and all the difficulties and doubts and obstacles and all the crazy things he went through on the way there, before even considering going on the way there, all the doubts and frustrations, getting there, and then coming back. It's an amazing, amazing story. In English, it's been translated in the book, incorporated in the book Through Fire and Water by the BRI. In there's an amazing story. While Rebbe Nachman was still unsure about himself whether or not to travel to the Holy Land, so on his way, he was in a certain village for Shabbat. And in his Shabbat experience with the people there were some people there who were very friendly with him, and he appreciated their friendship. And Rav Nachman was so broken at the time from being frustrated about whether or not to travel to the Holy Land even, and he felt he needed a major boost of simcha and joy. And there was someone there that he felt, because of his good attitude and his good-heartedness, that he felt that he can dance with this person and arouse simcha. So Rav Nachman, he said, even though it was against the nature for that Shabbos, because he was so heavy from the frustrations of going to Israel, not how am I going to do with the money, how am I going to do with the traveling, and all these questions, he grabbed the guy and started dancing with him. And the person didn't want to dance. He was like ashamed and embarrassed, was out of it. But Rav Nachman insisted, and he kept on dancing with the guy, forcing him to dance with him, until the guy started getting so into the simcha of the dancing that he was dancing even better and more enthusiastic than Rav Nachman himself, okay? And Rav Nachman records this story. It tells a lot. It says, the number one, that Rav Nachman saw in this person, there is a potential energy there of simcha, and I want to release it. And I know this person would like to have it released, but he needs a bit of a boost, and I need it also. I need the boost of simcha desperately, and I feel I can grab this person and bring it out. And that's what Rav Nachman did, and he proved right, in that the person got even dancing even more than him, and Rav Nachman writes that he was making everybody happy afterwards. And he was so appreciative that he had the merit of getting this person to be happy on Shabbat to the extent of dancing, something which was so far-fetched no one thought would happen, okay? With this in mind, we can understand this amazing verse here, okay? The idea of simcha is so important. Rebbe Nachman stresses it. Rav Nachman in his Likutei Halachot, he even expands more and more on many practical levels why it's so important to work on simcha, even forcing it, even when you're out of it, even if you feel so troubled and you feel that your problems in life are just following you wherever you go and you don't find a way out, still, simcha is the key for everything. Like Rebbe Nachman opens up the verse, and Rav Nachman also, this amazing verse from Isaiah, Ki besimcha tetzeu, for with joy you will leave. You want to get out of what you're stuck in life? You want to get out of being stuck in the challenge and going backwards? Simcha, with joy, okay? So now, let's take a look at this verse, okay? Ki tir'eh, if you see, et chamor achicha, the donkey of your brother. So it's a brother, it's a fellow Jew. someone who shares goals and aspirations like you. He's a brother. You share a common interest in serving Hashem, a common interest in doing good, a common interest in wanting to better yourself. But the person has a chamor. A chamor translates as a donkey, but the root for chamor is chomer, chomriyut, materialism, physicality. You see your fellow brother, your fellow Jew, that his chomriyut, his materialism, noflim baderech, is falling. It's bringing him down to depression. The word noflim, nefilah, is connoting a downward spiral direction on the derech, the person's pathway in serving Hashem. Now this person doesn't just have a donkey, but he has shor, or a donkey or a shor. A shor is a kosher animal, it's an ox. The word shor also means to see. Like it says, ashurenu, I see it, velo karov. It's a verse from the prophets. I see it, but not close. Ashurenu velo karov. I see it, but not right now. It's going to happen. Okay, it's a verse from the Torah itself. Ashurenu velo karov. I see it, but not happening now. So shor and shur, also by Yosef HaTzadik, benot tza'ada alei shur, that it says about Yosef HaTzadik that he was so handsome and so, in a positive sense, in a masculine sense, beautiful, and also in a kedusha sense, as a shining tzaddik, he was mamash radiating light. So it says the girls in Egypt, they would tiptoe on the walls, because Yosef HaTzadik, being a tzaddik, would walk in modesty with no woman around. They would be behind the mechitza, so they would tiptoe on their toes to be able to look over the top wall of the mechitza of the wall to see Yosef, right? Benot Sa'ada, the daughters, they would stand on their tiptoes, alei shor, over the wall, okay? And the word shur means to see also, in order to see Yosef HaTzadik. So shor and shur are associated. What does it mean to see? Seeing, sight, is related to sight, to light. Shor connotes seeing light, and as we've said many times already, light, or, is gematria Ein Sof, the infinite light, the infinite one. So shor is something positive, and chamor is something negative. But the point is here that your fellow brother has a chamor or a shor. You have a fellow Jew who's struggling with his challenges of his chomriyut, materialism, or shoro, or his light. You have a fellow Jew, noflim baderech, he's struggling to try to serve Hashem, to follow the path, the derech, but he has struggles. He says, look, you see your fellow Jew, you shouldn't see your fellow Jew who has chamor or shor, that he's always jumping. He has difficulties. He's being weighed down by his chomriyut, materialism, and he's lifted up by the shor. But even with the light, Rebbe Nachman teaches in lesson 24 that when a person is going up and up and up, he also gets pushed back. He gets pushed down. He has a nefilah. It's called a betisha in the language of the Kabbalah, but it's also a backwards push. Okay, so you have someone who anyways is stuck in sadness due to this materialism, or he's fallen backwards due to the light. So he's falling on the path because of the chamor of his materialism, or he's falling back from the pathway because of the intensity of the light, the shor that he's looking to get to the light. He's trying to advance, and part of the process, Rebbe Nachman teaches, is to get pushed back. Okay, so that's your fellow Jew that you're seeing who's struggling this. You should not you should not see your fellow Jew who has having ups and downs, in sadness, in simcha, due to the chamor or his shor, v'talamta mehem, and you should say, okay, that's his business, it's his problem, let him struggle, let him handle on his own. No, the pasuk is saying that your simcha is contagious, you can help lift him up. Hakem takim imo, lift your fellow Jew up. You see your fellow friend down and depressed, don't say, oh, poor guy, I feel bad for you and this. Get him happy, man. Tell him a joke. Sing a song. Make him laugh. Remind him of what he has to be happy about. Remind him of to give thanks, what to give thanks to Hashem about. Remind him that everything in the end was going to work out with Hashem. These are like the 5 major advices given by Rebbe Nachman. Rav Nosson expounds on them. on how to work and activate simcha. So the thing is, hakem takim imo. Lift up, you should lift up with him. The Torah is saying in the verse, it's on condition. Imo. When you know that this person wants this, he wants to be lifted up, but he just stuck down, as opposed to other people who've given up already and they don't want to be lifted up, there you have no mitzvah to help them. You know someone is a mocker, someone who has too much haughtiness, and he doesn't want to listen to you. He's not your brother in this sense. He doesn't have the same interests in trying to serve Hashem. He's stuck in his chomriyut and he has no shor. So you have a brother who has a chamor but he doesn't have a shor. For him, there's no lifting up with him because he doesn't want to participate, so you have no obligation to work on his simcha. Where's an obligation to help simcha? When you see in the person a ray of light. Like we saw it in the example of Rebbe Nachman, he saw and felt in this guy that there's potential light to wake him up. He just needs help. He needs that push. And then together they were dancing. So too, a fellow Jew who you know will listen to you, you know that deep inside he really wants to come close. He has a chamor or a shor. He's going through the challenges of his materialism, the chomriyut, physicality, but he's also having challenges being a shor, trying to find the light to come close to Hashem. It's amazing how the shor is an ox, which is a strong, powerful animal, and that's what's needed in devotion to serve Hashem. You need to be strong. Okay, Shulchan Aruch says, Yitgaber ka'ari. Person should strengthen himself like an ari, like a lion. But for the rest, that's for getting up in the morning to serve Hashem. You need a lion's strength to get up in the morning, which is very powerful. But for the rest of the day, you need to be a shor. You can't be what's called in Yiddish a shlamazel, a schlepper, someone who's like laid back and very weak and fimble and fragile to serve Hashem. You need to be strong like an ox to take on the yoke of doing what you have to do every day. The Torah study regimen, the blessings, the davening, the work, the family, all that is incorporated in serving Hashem. You need to be like a shor, okay? Someone who has chamor or shor, then you have an obligation, lo lit'alem. You can't now not look at him. You have to get involved to help him. But the condition is takem takim imo, with him. In other words, you know already that this person will come out and he'll be participating in the simcha itself also. You activate something, it's like lighting a candle until it's able to flicker and light on its own. That's how it is here. So the verse is hinting to the powerful mitzvah of simcha and not letting your fellow Jew fall. The word noflim also appears by Cain in Parshat Bereshit, when Cain saw that Hashem accepted Hevel's sacrifice of the sheep, and it was upset. So Hashem told Cain, Lama naflu fanecha. Why is your face fallen? And the connotation is fallen into sadness. Hashem took his sacrifice, he didn't take mine. So he led him to feeling dejected, rejected by Hashem, and anger. And Hashem rebuked Cain. What do you, Lama naflu fanecha? Why are you comparing, okay? You feel bad? Don't feel bad and jealous. You feel, in other words, don't feel bad that leads you to negativity and sadness. Feeling bad in order to perfect and fix your ways, that's positive. But in the case of Cain, it led him to jealousy and sad because of sadness. So noflim connotes the idea of sadness and depression. So it fits in when it says in the verse, noflim baderech, that the person is God forbid, falling into sadness because he's frustrated. He has no more strength for this battle of the chamor and the shor, falling backwards, and he just can't handle anymore, and he's falling into sadness. When you see that happen, don't see this and look away. Get involved to bring him besimcha. Wake him up, and on condition that he's going to also participate. And the verse saying hakem takim imo, it's as if the verse is saying that it's for sure going to be with him. For sure, if he's such a person that has a chamor or a shor, such a person who has a battle with his materialism and a battle with his Yiddishkeit, his holiness, his shor, to look for the light, for sure he's going to be with you. And therefore the Torah's warning, don't look back, work on making him besimcha, because it's a payoff. It is a major payoff for everybody, B'ezrat Hashem. Thank you and Shabbat Shalom.